Dear researchers, welcome to my next research video. You are with me, Dr. Rajashekar. If you are a first timer to my channel, you can hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon so that when I post my next video, you will get immediate notification. Today, we are analyzing the latest trend in humanities, the research, the buzzing, and the emerging field, the memory studies. We'll see what is memory studies and what are the critical frameworks of memory studies and what are the important authors and key theorists in memory studies. We'll see one by one. Come, let's get started. See, first of all, memory studies is a multidisciplinary field. No, it is a multidisciplinary field. Actually, it draws on a range of critical frameworks and approaches to understand the ways in which the memory is constructed, maintained, and transmitted. Every one of us, we have different memories. How do we construct that memory? What shapes the memory? It depends upon the subjective experience. That is what the memory study is going to study, but not in the subjective way, but in the overall way. So further, there are 5 to 6 key frameworks used in the memory studies. One is culture as a framework. See, this framework examines the ways in which the memory is shaped by cultural, political, and economic forces and the role of power in shaping collective memories. Even though every one of us we have subjective experience as a memory, but that subjective experience is controlled by the collective, the phenomenon called, that is what, political, economical, and social condition. So in this phenomenon, how culture plays a vital role to shape the memory. That's what the first framework. Second one is psychoanalysis in the memory, because you know very well the psychoanalytical theory by Sigmund Freud. He talks about the unconscious memory. No, right? No, actually, this framework in the memory studies, it talks about how the role of unconscious processes in shaping the individual memories. That's what subjective memory, and their relationship to personal and cultural identity. Because if you take the people who live in Sri Lanka, LTTE, and all those issues, you could have heard about it. But Tamil ethnic group who lives in Sri Lanka, if you analyze their memory, because it will be very traumatic, because of the civil war and other thing, they are not given rights and all those things. If you study their complete history, and if you study their culture and other thing, we'll come to know about it psychologically, how those traumatic experiences shaped their memory. Similar to the other one is partition studies, Holocaust studies, and all these things. If you study, you don't need to study as an individual experience. If you study the whole group, you will come to know how it has been formed, how even that's what even Holocaust survivors, even after those bad, traumatic experience, they are unable to live peacefully because of the haunting memories. So that comes in the psychoanalytical framework. Third thing is postmodernism. See, in this postmodernism, how it is dealt in memory studies. Basically, if you look at this thing, they don't consider the notion of memory as a fixed and stable one. They don't accept it. Postmodern condition, it never accept memory as a fixed and stable one. Instead, they emphasizing the fragmented memory and contingent nature of memory, and the ways in which the memory is constructed and reconstructed in response to changing social and cultural context. Because the memory cannot be the fixed one, because how I dealt a particular thing 20 years back with respect to my cultural understanding or cultural ambience, how I deal the matter today, it will be entirely different. That's what we cannot say it's a fixed one. For instance, what I had an experience in 20 years back, today that cannot be the same. It will change. Because if you say that it's a fixed phenomenon, Even after 20 years, the same memory has to be the similar thing, but it is not going to be, because now the culture has changed, the political condition changed, the economical condition changed. So now you will see that experience in an entirely different way. That is what postmodern condition. It never accepts the fixed notion. It's instead of it accepts the fragmented notion, and what you call it's kind of a fluid thing. It accepts as the what you call this particular nuance is accepted in the postmodern condition. So when you analyze this postmodern condition through memory, how memory is changed through postmodern condition. Fourth one is scientifically neuroscience. See here how biological as well as cognitive processes that underlie memory formation, storage, retrieval, and the ways in which these processes are influenced by individual and cultural factors. The neuroscience framework will study this aspect. If you come to the feminine, that is gender framework, see here the gender dimensions of memory is studied, including the ways in which women's experience and perspective of the marginalized section or a dominant cultural memory, how it is there. Because if you look at the gendered memory, obviously one strata will have one type of experience, another strata will have another type of memory, and this will study the entire memory under the lens of gender. And if you look at the another one is decolonization aspect. See here the dominant cultural memories that emerged from colonial and imperial histories are not accepted. They seek to recover, reinterpret this colonial history and the colonial what you call cultural memory, because that is not original one. Because you think that somebody is fabricated, they call it as a fabricated memory, because when the Britishers left India, and even today somebody left India, the condition of India was very poor. Actually, we used to think, a lot of people used to say that if the Britishers had ruled India some more time, India could have been much more better. Absolutely no, because that is a fabricated structure given by the colonies created by the Orientalism. No, the West created in the kind of a memory in such a way that they are the best. They were in these Eastern countries to culture them, to make them up, and to provide a lot of opportunities to these people. But obviously, the West exploited to the core the East. They just looted everything. They left countries when they were unable to manage. This is the original. But if you study the history memory, those memories will say that it is they did good things to the country and other things. No, it's not the truth. That's what decolonize those concepts. So when the memory is what you call deconstructed, certain memories, fabricated memory, that should be removed. That's what you have to deconstruct. So these are the 6 aspects you can see based on culture, psychoanalysis, postmodern condition, neuroscience, gender studies, gender aspect, and decolonization aspect. These 6 aspects, if you are interested to work on memory studies, you can apply these 6, probably a theoretical framework, to analyze your text. And you need to know the important work and the important authorities in the memory studies. One is Pierre Nora. He is a French historian who introduced the concept of lieux de mémoire, that is sites of memory, which refers to physical locations or cultural symbols that are imbued with cultural significance and act as repositories of collective memory. That's very important. So this is it's a important work. Next person is Maurice Halbach. Maurice Halbach, a French sociologist who developed the concept of collective memory, which refers to the shared memories and cultural understandings that are created and maintained. This is very important. by social groups. Third person, obviously Sigmund Freud, a pioneer in psychoanalysis, who explored the role of unconscious processes in shaping individual memories, particularly in his concept of repression and the ways in which traumatic memories can be repressed and later recovered through psychoanalytic therapy. Fourth person, Jacques Derrida, a French philosopher and postmodernist, who challenged the traditional notion of memory as a fixed and stable entity, instead emphasizing the fragmented and contingent nature of memory. That's what postmodern condition already explained to you. And the ways in which it is constructed and reconstructed in response to changing social and cultural context. The fifth important person is Susan Sontag, an American writer and cultural critic who explored the relationship between photography and memory and the ways in which photography both creates and reflects cultural memories. So this is a very important thing. The last important person, probably Aleida Assmann, a German cultural theorist who has developed the concept of cultural memory, which refers to the ways in which cultural traditions, symbols, and narratives are transmitted across generation and shape the collective understanding of the past. So these theories, along with many other, have made significant contribution to the field of memory studies and continue to inform and shape the ongoing research and debates in the field. And if you if you go through all these authors and the important framework, obviously there is a good option for you to continue your research in memory studies. And if you got any question, just to give it in the comment box. I'll meet you with some other literary theory in the next video. Bye bye.